Hey guys, I can't wait to show you my pin craft today with Chip and Dale. So this one, I actually was super inspired by this pen. I got this pen actually as a prize from Magical Trends. So I wanted to give them a shout out because they're amazing pin sellers and they have stunning pins as well as fantasy pins, and they're just great sellers. They have amazing stuff. So I just always want to, give them credit because they do great stuff. So, but I was really inspired by this pin to do this craft. And so it's funny how my brain works sometimes, how it'll come up with different ideas. I hope you guys like this craft. I kind of could envision something that, in my mind when I got this pin from them. I wasn't sure I was going to keep it, but then all of a sudden, like my creative, like all the little like sparks started going and I'm like, oh, I can make something really cool. So I needed to make sure I did this craft. So I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, so as I said, I won this pin. And by the way, thanks to Pin HQ for the Go Pin Pro, or not Pin HQ, yeah, Pin HQ by Go Pin Pro. I love these boards. I got this from Magical Trends as a prize, and it's just such a pretty pin. I just love the fall. I don't know. I just didn't think I'd like it. I thought maybe I'd just sell it. So, because sometimes you get a pin and you're like, sometimes I'll get one as a prize. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I went to the thrift store and I got this frame, and it had a piece of glass that I've taken out and placed somewhere safely that I don't know where. And as a result, that's a little concerning that I don't know where it is, but that's okay. We'll work it out. So we've got our layers of paper, and this is a 5x7 frame. So I cut this piece to be 5x7. Then I cut this piece a 1/2 inch smaller because a lot of this is going to be covered up by the frame. So I just wanted a hint of the Cajun craze. So a lot of this orange is going to be covered up. So let's go ahead and glue that down. So this is 4.5 by, this is 4.5 by 6.5. So that's why you have this large frame around the outside. And so, yeah. So you've got this nice large frame around. But then for the next layer, for the red, I didn't want it to be 1/2 inch. So I went ahead and made this one 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, I believe. And so we'll go ahead and put that layer. I think this is going to be enough cardstock underneath to where we might not need that layer. We'll see. Putting a layer underneath is easier than putting another layer on top. And then this is perfect because this is only 4 inches by 6 and the paper is 6 by 6. And so, and see that like fun foil on there? So, oh, I should have cut it the other way, then I could have kept a nice strip of the trees. Oh well. All right, so this is a 4 by 6 down here, and we'll just lay that down. And we've got our basic layer. And what I wanted for this particular card is we're gonna pop this in here, but I don't know, this frame, let's see. It might be a little too much, we'll see. I think we might be able to get it to stick through without this. Let's see, because we managed to get it to stick through here. This is where you have to do like a little tester and see there's a lot of gap. There's like a, oh gosh, I mean, I think there's like a 1/8 of an inch gap, maybe a couple eighths, maybe a 1/4 inch almost gap between this. I think we are going to need this underneath. We're definitely going to need something stiff underneath. I might use this for something else. Here we go. Perfect. I've got these. This is perfect. So I've got these, and these are actually just, oh, perfect. I think this is the perfect size. This is just that chipboard that comes in a paper pumpkin box. And so I'm just going to cut it. it's pretty light, but this might be enough to bulk up. That piece of art is really stiff chipboard, and I guess I just didn't want to bend my pin, is what I was thinking too. Okay, we need to cut off a little bit from the top too. And this is softer than that chipboard, so we won't bend the pin, as we learned from Oliver. When I bent that Oliver pin, I cut most of that out, but like, yeah, so let's see if we can press this through. And when you're pressing your pin, you just go straight down. I think we're gonna need this other piece on top. But again, this is softer than the other. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the cardboard on the top because that's the softest, and then we'll put the other, well, maybe not, because let's see how this goes. Because the sharpest straight down, and you want to just go straight down in. Actually, let me try it down here. There we go. You maybe even, that's good. That's going to be good. Okay. Oops, sorry. I hope I wasn't out of frame. So that's going to be good. Okay. But I tried it in the corner. That's going to be a good height. So now we're going to go ahead and put our layer in here. So the Cajun craze is like almost non-existent, but this is where it's like a little tricky when we're putting it in, because you want to press it down. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pliers. I have some pliers right here, I think. Yes. And I'm just gonna bend these right at the, I'm gonna bend these right at the, not gonna bend them where they're bent. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So we'll go ahead and we'll stick this back in. And that way it's not pressed down all the way, because we're losing some layers when we do that. And so we'll use our pliers to just barely hold it. So I'm just gonna use my pliers and I'm just gonna turn it just the tiniest bit. So I'm just turning it just the tiniest bit. So I'm not actually, you know, when you put a picture in here, when you put a picture in here, you're like really pressing it down. We don't need that for this. So we can have it up a little, and it only needs to hold it just a little bit. Yeah, like this one is just barely holding it down. That's what I wanted. Yeah, just that little bit of wiggle room, and then that'll make it to where it's less pressure. There we go. So I have this stamp set, 2 every season, and there's this fun little leaf here, and there's a little punch that goes with it. It has this tiny little punch that goes with it. There we go. Let's stamp it with some pecan pie so there's a little bit of texture instead of black. And so we're going to stamp a couple of, oh, I have some scrap here. Let's use this scrap. All right, so we'll stamp a leaf here, and we'll stamp a leaf here. Oops, that one got a little messed up. I almost stamped my actual pin. All right, that one's smudged. Got a little out of control. There we go. So we've got that, and I've got some red scrap here. I also have some pecan. This one I stamped earlier with the darker, I think that was with early espresso. And I want to stamp, yeah, I think I want to stamp the red with the pecan. So let's do that real quick. There's like a glare from this light, but I want you guys to be able to see. And I just need a couple. And so we've got pecan, we've got the orange. That's a Cajun Craze. Let me grab a Cajun Craze one. Scrap, which I have. There we go. Let's try that. There we go. Oh, that one got extra smudged. All right, good. And I'm gonna go ahead and use those. We're just gonna punch these out. Yeah, I think the lighter color adds to it. Whereas I think I'd used black before. And I think not using black is good. I love black, but I think in this case I really want the browns. Or I had used like an early espresso, which is also fine, but again, the pin has other colors. So let's go ahead and punch out a couple orange. I don't know if I'll use these, but I didn't before, but we'll punch them out anyway. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna be putting the pin right there, and then I'm gonna put some, I wanna put some leaves around it, a bunch of little leaves around it, and then we're gonna put a label at the top there. So let's go ahead and just press it down. Let's just go for it. You're gonna wanna press straight down. We can move it if we need to, but press straight down. Come on. Okay, I just don't want to bend it. It's just a lot of layers. So you know what I'm going to do so I don't mess up my, I'm afraid of messing up my pin. No, it's not bending, but I think I'm going to grab like another pin I don't really care about. No, I don't really have any. Just going to want to press straight down gently. There we go. A little bit of wiggle. Little bit of wiggle. Got it right down. All right, perfect. So let me get my glue dots. Boo Boosh is in the way, so I'll grab my box from down here, my brand new box, because he's being annoying. All right, he's being a baby. All right, so we've got this one here, and we'll tuck him right under there. Oops, I didn't pick up. Tuck that right under. We just want the stem under, right? And then we'll take this Cajun Craze one. We'll do the same right on top and down there. And then the orange one, we're going to tuck just a touch underneath. You know, you want it somewhat random, but I also don't want the little stem showing. So, you know, and that one, oh, that one's cute. I put an extra, I'm gonna put an extra dimensional or glue dot on it, because tucking that little leaf and having it 3D is kind of fun. There we go, cool. So now that one's 3D. All I did was I put 3 glue dots behind this bottom leaf, part of the leaf, and it pops it up. So it's not the same as the full dimensionals, but maybe that's what I need, or the dimensionals. But no, then it won't tuck underneath. And so then we'll put this orange one right against. And then I think we'll put this one flat, and then we'll make that one, this red one's pop up. That'll be cool. So I literally just put 3 glue dots on the edge of the leaf. So it just has a little more height. just a little height. Just a little bit. Oops. There we go. And I bent that one just a touch. And then I'm going to put this one right underneath. Right there. I think that's all that I had. No, boo-boo, no. Okay, so for our stamp, I went ahead and I found this grateful stamp. I loved the font on this particular grateful, and you know, I wanted that word grateful. So this came from a paper pumpkin set too. This was a paper pumpkin set from, I used this before with the Pocahontas card because the feather. Let's do this one behind it. So I went ahead and stamped it already. So that was with, oh, my punch. There we go. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually expand it. So if I cut this in half, when you cut it in half, you can actually layer. This is pecan pie. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So this is pecan pie and this is pumpkin pie. And I stamped this grateful stamp with early espresso. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna layer, we're gonna trim off a little bit more. And we're going to layer we're gonna just layer it right there. So it looks like it's a bigger cutout than it is. And so we'll go ahead and get some glue. I'll just put just a tiny bit of glue across here. It doesn't have to be a ton, but that way we can also adjust it. And it just gives that 3D effect, even though I think that might have been too much. I got some in a spot, but I have my little glue eraser. Oh, no good. We're good. There we go. So, all right. All right, so cool. And we're gonna pop that up on dimensionals. Okay, I went back and I gently used the pliers. I didn't like how this was looking. I want it to be a little cleaner. So I went ahead and went back, and we're just gonna go ahead and use our tape to tape down the ribbon. I like this copper. I don't like the gold, I think. The copper, I think, looks better. The gold, when I put the gold on, where'd the gold go? There it is. It really pops, but I don't know. No, the gold clashes. So we'll go ahead and we'll cut and tape. And I just wanted it cleaner. I just needed a little bit cleaner look. I normally just leave it, but again, this is gonna sit out. And so I need it to look a little bit better. Oops, I don't wanna mess with my pin too much. It's gonna pop my pin off. Okay. And we're gonna get a layer right here. Just be gentle, don't poke your fingers. That one's straight, cool. And then we'll get this one straight on top. Yeah, I like the warmth of this copper. And this is a retired ribbon. from a while back. We're gonna gently press our, because I had to take it off backward, so I don't want to mess with the pin. We're gonna gently poke our pieces of chipboard back underneath. There's a hole right here. There we go. And then our cardboard. And the cardboard is the softest, so. But again, we just don't want to, but this, finally, I have a frame that looks all clean and finished. You know, sometimes when I've done these, they haven't been as clean and finished. All right, so let's get this back down. There we go. Get all that back down. I'm gonna put this one under. There we go. There we go. And again, we're gonna use our pliers to gently just fold it halfway. Don't fold it all the way down like you would for a picture frame. You're gonna just turn it almost at a 90 degree, so it's barely holding the back on, because you want the thickness to be there. Yeah, there we go. All right. Whoa, there's like a lot of mess here. All right, cool. And that, we're gonna put this on dimensionals. And this is going to be our craft. So I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals just across the middle, because I'm not mailing this. So I want to make sure it's sticking to the paper, but not necessarily like, you know, going crazy on the ribbon. And this is going to go with my Thanksgiving stuff. And I'll put this, I only have a couple Thanksgiving decorations, so this is like a fun little alternative. Oh, that looks so cute. That actually turned out better than I expected. And so, yeah, look at that. It turned out so good.